Good morning, friends. Again, I have brought a new video on the virtual SAP interview, how to prepare for it, and some of the useful tips which will help you to fetch your. This video will explain us more in detail what all points to be kept in mind, what preparation needs to be done, and how to take it forward, how to introduce yourself, how to close the interview. We will be discussing on probably not into too many of detailed things, but all the important ones we will have a touch base with, and that will also give you a clue on what you are supposed to do and what you must avoid. Remember, whenever virtual interview happens, you do not sit in front of the interviewer as face to face, but you sit with the interviewer on a remote distance basis, remote location wise, and that is how for the interviewer also to check few things becomes little bit more difficult, but that does not mean that you should not present yourself in the best possible manner. That is very important if you really want to have that job offer in your hand, or maybe selection in that given interview round. Let's move further and let's see what all things we have as part of this video. But before I proceed further, I have few requests for you all. That first, kindly watch this video till the end. It has very much useful tips which will be helpful to you. Second, share this video in your network. Third, subscribe my YouTube channel. I will keep bringing such kind of useful videos which will help you to achieve your dream job in the SAP field, that is consulting. And now, without delay, let's move further. So this is the content of this video, and we will see the meaning of virtual interview. We will also see what all the checklist we should check before the virtual interview happens or gets done. Then how to initiate the virtual interview, how we should take it forward. Then what all questions we should not ask in the interview by the candidate. And the very first and foremost item is first impression is the last impression. And then finally we will conclude this video on conclusion with giving some important tips and tricks. So this is the overall content of the video. Let's proceed further. First, let us understand what is the meaning of virtual interview. As you can see in this particular picture, that person is sitting in front of the panel members. The candidate is sitting in front of 4 panel members. This is not called as a virtual interview. Virtual interview means two people will not be sitting in front of each other physically. I hope this point is very clear. That means there is no face-to-face contact between interviewer and the interviewee in case of the virtual interview. Second, in case of virtual interview, it is being carried out or it is being conducted via use of various technologies and the applications given to us by the information technology. We have a lot of applications to get that work done. What all the important ways and technologies we have to get these things done? we have Microsoft Teams, we have various kind of meeting links, we have Google Meet, we have WebEx link, we have Zoom link, and then we have many others as well, which I have not mentioned here because the list will become literally very long. But whatever I have mentioned are the important ones by which interviews are conducted on a regular basis. It can also be via just telephonic video call possible. That also is one of the way of conducting the interview. Now let's move further. This part is the most important part of the virtual interview preparation. This is the most important slide as well as per my understanding. This virtual interview, I am taking it on a very regular basis, rather I will say more frequently than actual face-to-face interview. My 80 to 90% interviews goes into this category only, and based on my personal experience, I am sharing these tips and tricks which will help you to present your case in front of the interviewer in the most appropriate and most useful way. First thing, wherever you are sitting to give the interview, ensure that it has a proper lighting. If it doesn't have a proper lighting, the interviewer will not be able to see your face clearly, it will not have the proper visibility, and in that case, interviewer will get an impression that you are not fully prepared for it, and you might have doing some kind of mischievous activity as well. So proper lighting is a must, and remember your face should be clearly visible to the interviewer. Clearly visible. If it is not clear, means there is something wrong. That is how interviewer will think. Then you should also have a stable internet connection. Please check this internet connectivity issue. This I have seen one of the most recurring issue whenever I conduct a virtual interview. Then you also need to check up camera settings and see whether it is working fine or not. Does the application is fully updated or not? My laptop or phone is completely updated and kept everything clean and clear or not? All these things you must check up. All remember, all these things need to be done before the interview, not after the interview or not during the interview. During the interview anyway you don't have a chance to do all these things. You will be already into the problem if you have not prepared for it. So proper lighting is a must. Stable internet connection you must ensure. It can be your Wi-Fi connection or it can be your mobile internet connection, does not matter, but connection should be stable as much as possible. And not just that, do not depend on just one network. Keep at least one backup network also ready, because anything can go wrong in between and you might lose a chance unnecessarily because of these nonsense things, which can be very much avoided provided you have prepared a backup plan also for the same. Then you should sit at a place which does not have any kind of disturbances. Nobody should in your room during the interview, nobody should go out from your room in the interview, and all these things must be avoided. Please inform all your family members or wherever you are sitting that they should not disturb you for the next 1.5 hours. Why somebody should get into during the interview? What they have to do with it? Can't you secure a place which doesn't have any disturbances if you are going to give an interview? That shows that you are not fully prepared for it. So do not create such kind of impressions in the mind of the interviewer about you that you are not ready for it. I am here not talking about the technical preparation, I am talking about the preparations which are the part of the virtual interview process. Then You should check the headphone also whether it is working properly or not. Does it have any issue? All these things need to be checked thoroughly. Then, very important, you should always have a proper dress code. Though you are sitting at a remote does not mean that you will not be properly dressed. You must be properly dressed before the interview, and it should be formal. It should not be like a casual kind of thing. Then you should also keep at least one or two identity cards with you before the interview. I have seen people who do not carry even the identity card. How people will identify who you are? How people will get to know? So it is very important, and then that card should be very clear. It should be readable. People should be able to read it. Some people are showing photocopies kind of thing. Then how that is going to work? All these things will actually go against you. That will also shows that you are not prepared well. And if at all there is any electricity cut or any problem in your network, you must have a backup plan for that as well. You have to keep it. There is no other point on that. Other than that, you also need to check whether the meeting link is working fine or not, and this checking needs to be done before the interview, not during the interview. Sometimes the link also can have some kind of issues. So check those things, and if at all if it has some issues, then connect with the recruiter who has sent you the link. That there is some issue, I am not able to connect, or I am not able to do this, something you have to check and get it done, sorted out. Then also ensure that whenever you open the cam, the background of the cam should look professional. It either wherever you are sitting should have a professional look, or you have lot of background settings which can be used for the purpose of interview. So it will look like an office at the back of yours. So all the points which I have mentioned as a part of this video and as part of in this slide are very important. All these things can either make or break your chance of getting selected in the given round. Please keep these things in mind. They are not the real factors, but they can definitely make a real difference in your life. Keep in mind that. Okay, let's move further. How to initiate the virtual interview? First thing is, you should be available for the interview. Join the link at least 2 minutes before your interview begins. This is the most basic courtesy. Let panel member be late, no problem. Sometimes due to unavoidable reasons they can be late. They are also not supposed to be late in ideal situation, but then every time everything will not go smooth, so sometimes that is there. But then same situation doesn't apply in case of the person who is going to give the interview. They don't have 10 interviews at a time. They can have only one interview at a time. So they need to be available. I have seen many people who have scheduled interview, but they do not even appear for the interview. This is one of the worst thing you can do for your job interview. If at all for any reason you are not going to attend the interview, kindly inform the recruiter well in advance, so that the panel member need not to waste their time because of your convenience. And this also is part of the basic courtesy. Otherwise, your profile will be marked as no show. That means you did not even appear for the interview, and that is again a black mark on your CV. Keep that in mind as well. Then the moment the interview begins, always switch on the camera. Do not wait for that somebody will ask you and then you will switch on the camera. camera and microphone both should be open right from the beginning. Okay, and then as per the timings, always greet the interviewer or the panel member. Many people I have seen who do not even bother to greet the interviewer, and that goes as part of the basic etiquette, basic professional decorum. Many people miss on that as well. I have seen it. These are very small things, but has the potential to make a lot of difference in your selection and rejection process. Then self introduction, again very important. Many people give lot of details here and there, but always try to keep it short and sweet, to the point, related to the job you are applying for, and do not add too many personal things into your introduction. So I will prepare a separate video on this topic, because this topic again is very important. So I am just giving you at a high level how the self introduction need to be done when they ask you introduce yourself or tell me about yourself. It can be any of such type questions, so they can ask you. Then another very important during the entire interview is the eye contact. Many people do not maintain the proper eye contacts with the interviewer. If you maintain the right eye contact, then people will understand you are a genuine person, you are not nervous, you are not fearful, and you have the confidence to talk from eye to eye. But I have also seen many people do not have even guts to properly have and maintain a proper eye contact. You don't need to stare at anybody, but you need to maintain proper eye contacts. It is very important. Another important point is maintaining the right body posture throughout the interview process. This is also very important, because your right body posture will give you the confidence, and that confidence will show when you talk or when you reply to the questions asked by the interviewer. So that helps. Okay, let's move forward. What are the questions are there which you should not ask to the interviewer, either during the interview or at the end of the interview? Though you may not know everything, you may not be able to answer everything, that is a separate thing altogether. But 2-3 points are there which I have always seen people do this, and this is not suggestible to do like this. Actually all these points goes against your selection chances. Actually it acts against your selection chances. At least in my case, if somebody will do like that, there is a fair amount of chance that I will not select that person for the next round. Please remember that I am one person who has already taken more than 200-300 interviews, and I also have overall interview experience of 700 plus interviews, just to give you that how much exposure I have with regard to the SAP interviews. First thing is, at the end of the interview, many people ask, please provide us answer of all the questions. Remember that the panel member has not sat there to give you the training or the KT or the other things. Maybe 1 or 2 questions you might ask, and if at all the person agrees, can give you answer as well. But then it depends on the interviewer. You cannot force an interviewer to give the answer of all the questions which you were not able to answer to them, or the kind of answers they were expecting from you. You do not have a right to do that. So keep in mind that this is very, very important. You can ask politely, but don't ask answer of all the questions. Nobody has time for that. Nobody has a time for that. And that too, you can ask based on your understanding about the interviewer's personality during the interview. If you feel that that person will not answer anything, please don't ask this question at all. Try avoiding this question. It is a better practice. Just after the interview, note down all the questions which you were not able to answer it well, and then prepare accordingly. Ask your colleagues, ask your seniors, ask your juniors, check on the internet. There are so many ways to find out an answer for a given question. Why don't you put some effort into it? Why do you need a ready-made answer from the interviewer itself? I have seen some candidates asking like this, and I have literally rejected them. Trust me. Then, very, very important. Never ever ask what is the outcome of the interview at the end of the interview. No interviewer will ever tell you whether you are selected or rejected in the same interview at the end of it. Do not ask this question to anybody, any interviewer for that matter. It actually hampers again your chance of getting selected. You might have answered everything fairly well, but because you asked this stupid question, you might get rejected. So never ever do that. And third and the foremost, never ever beg for the job or to get selected in the given round. You are not there for the begging purpose. You are there for a job purpose. Do not beg. Begging does not help. Reference doesn't help during the interview. This is not a government job. This is a SAP consulting job where only skills matters. Skills, behavior, attitude, so many other things are which matters. If you are a good candidate, if you have responded well, if you have given proper answers, there is no question that why you will not get selected, provided you fall into the best of the best category which interviewer is expecting from you. So all these points must be kept in mind, and these kind of things, don't ask answer for all the questions, do not ask for the result of the interview, and do not beg for getting selected in the round. These three things you must avoid in the virtual interview. Definitely you should avoid it. There is no question of doing all these things. Nobody is sitting there to give you the KT session at the end of the interview. No. One or two questions answers depending on your understanding about the interviewer you can ask. But just one or two. That too, if they want, they will tell you, otherwise they will not tell you that as well. So instead of asking them, why don't you go out, do some research, find out the answer and make yourself ready if somebody will ask you the similar kind of question next time. Put an effort into it. Why you want a ready-made solution for everything? Nowadays people love the ready-made solutions too much. Remember, all solutions are not ready-made as well. For some of the things you will have to work hard. There is no shortcut for everything. Not possible as well. Maybe my voice is little harsh, but then this is what the reality is. You have to keep in mind and you need to respect the interviewer. This is very, very important. Moving to the next. Remember, first impression is the last impression, and that is why first impression is always important. The way you talk, the way you express yourself, the way you use your body posture, the way you maintain your voice, eye contact, voice modulation, background, everything matters. Even if it is a virtual interview, still it all matters. Then whatever questions are asked you, always try to give to the point answers. Do not run around the bush, it doesn't help. If they are asking for a mango, give a reply as a mango. Don't give a reply as a banana. It is not going to help. It will create a confusion into interviewer's mind, thinking that whether this is the right candidate to be selected or not a right candidate fit to be rejected. If you don't know the answer of some questions, you don't know anything about some questions, directly you say, no, I don't know, sir, about it. I have not come across this situation, so I am not aware of it. Or I don't have knowledge or exposure to it. Simple, straightforward. Don't try to fool an interviewer. You are not in a position to fool them anyway. Then, always be honest. Honesty is the best policy as long as interview is concerned. Very, very good policy. Also, you should show your openness or your eagerness or your interest to learn new things if they give you a chance. That kind of attitude you need to show during the interview. All these things put together will create an impression of yours in the mind of the interviewer, and based on that, remember, interviews in the future will become even more complicated and more sophisticated. The kind of interview in SAP used to happen 10-15 years ago, that kind of interviews are not getting conducted anymore. This much technology was not developed 15 years, 10 years ago. Today technology has gone to a very brand new level altogether. And people are still thinking that by doing a useless certification they will get a job. Certification is not going to do your job. You have to do your job. And to do your job, first you have to prepare. Many people do not even prepare well. That is the main problem. Basic questions also they don't know. There are n number of materials available on the internet. There are n number of ways to get some doubts clarified. Still people do not prepare for it well. That is the unfortunate condition is what I can see. So please prepare well. Remember, your first impression is also your last impression. You get chance only once. Moving to the next. Coming to the conclusion of this video. Right preparation will give you the right confidence, and that will help you to perform well during the virtual interview, and this will also create a good image of yours in the eyes of the interview panel member, which will help you in increasing your chances of getting selected in the given round in which you are attending it in the virtual mode. So this is very, very important. Moving to the next. In case you have any doubts, any query which you want to clarify with regard to this video, or you have something which you want to ask, feel free to drop an email on this email ID. I will definitely respond you on that. Moving to the next. Now I have come to the conclusion of this video. Thank you so much for watching all the way till here. I hope some value addition must have happened in your understanding about the virtual interview, the way it is getting conducted, and other related things. Kindly like this video, share this video in your network, and put up your comments if you have anything. Please put up some comments, and also subscribe my YouTube channel. I will keep bringing in such kind of useful videos which is useful for one and all. Thank you so much. Once again, have a great day ahead. Bye bye.